if we look at the concept of
What is it?
omnipotence, it says that it's unlimited power, essentially. And we're saying there is nothing that God cannot, that there's nothing that Yahweh cannot do. That's what it implies. Omnipresence says present everywhere simultaneously, and there's no location outside of God's awareness, including your mind. Omniscience means complete and perfect knowledge, which means perfect recall of both the past, the present, and the future, all within Yahweh's understanding. And omnibenevolence means perfect and unlimited goodness. That is, Yahweh desires and projects only
Share.
good constantly.
Share.
Anything evil
Share
is
this
outside of
video.
his purview, cannot be related
Let it go
to such a being.
viral.
And
Let your friend
even
learn.
from this explanation, we all know
Share
that
to your
Yahweh
friends.
is none of these things that I just said. So let's start from the beginning. Let's start from omnipotence. Does the God of the Bible, does Yahweh act with unlimited power? Judges 1:9. It says, and the Lord was with the men of Judah, and they took possession of the hill country, and they were unable to drive the people from the plains because they had iron chariots. That is not omnipotent. That is not omnipotence. The God of the entire universe, the most powerful being in our universe, was unable to drive people out because they had iron chariots. If we are to compare in the modern world, in 2004, there was a Boxing Day tsunami. It unalived approximately 230 people across about 14 countries in 22 minutes. About 70% of the people that were unalived in this tsunami were in church. Because it was Boxing Day, they were in church. And they all were unalived in church while praying to Yahweh. 230 people
Please share this
unalived
video.
in 22 minutes, less than 30 minutes, just because the tectonic plate shifted. 70% of that number were praying to Yahweh. He did not deem it fit to save them. That does not tell me about a very powerful God, if you ask me. Omniscience, like I said, perfectly knowledgeable. So, if we are to follow the logical conclusion of omniscience, it means Yahweh knew before he created Adam and Eve that they would fail in the Garden of Eden. He knew that Cain would would unalive Abel way before he ever created the universe. He knew way before he created humanity that humanity would become so wicked that he would have to use a flood to unalive the entirety of humanity except for some chosen people. And before he did all of that, before he created a single atom in our universe, Yahweh knew that he would regret creating man, but yet he did so nonetheless. Regret, by its very implication, implies a complete 360 shift on a previously held position. This does not imply all knowledgeable.
Share.
6 million Jews unalived during the Holocaust,
Let it go viral.
documented by the perpetrators of these
Let your
unspeakable
friend learn.
crimes.
Share to your
If we are saying that
friends.
Yahweh is an omniscient God, it means that he knew way before he created the world that the Jews would go through this unspeakable genocide. But he never stopped it. He never intervened. That does not seem like an omniscient God to me. God is everywhere, omnipresent. This is one that makes the least sense to me. Because at the end of the day, if you are saying that God is everywhere, it means you are implying that God is in that room where that little girl was getting raped by the pastor. It means that God is in the room where a little child is dying of cancer. It means that God is in the room when Effiong Itafredi, a young child in the Niger Delta, was tortured to death, was tortured to unalive it by pastors because they accused him of being a witch. God, who is omnipresent, is a voyeur. He's a God that just peeps in. He's peeping in through the window while you are taking a shit, while you are having a bath, while you are making love to your wife. He's there in the room watching you. That is the omnipresent God. Now, the last one that is going to create the most problems for this discussion is omnibenevolence. You are saying Yahweh is perfectly good. He is good all of the time. But if I'm to start first, if you will permit me, I'm to start first from the state of the world today. In Nigeria alone, we have over 1 million little children that are suffering from fistula, a hole from their vagina into their anus and into their urinal cavity, just because men decided that these children are ready for sex and they're ready for marriage. And omnibenevolence God has not done anything against that, has not stopped this. 15,000 children accused of witchcraft in eastern Nigeria by pastors, by men who claim to worship Yahweh. He has not stopped this. He has not struck these men with thunder to stop them. In Nigeria alone, in this year, this 2026, you don't need to believe me, go and check the UN stats. Over 34,000 of gender-based violence just this year, this half that we've just finished. Over 34,000 reports in Nigeria alone. 230,000 unalived in a single tsunami in just 22 minutes. 70% of them were in church. 6 million Jews unalived and genocided in the name of this same person, this same Yahweh. There is nothing that you can say. Saying that Yahweh is benevolent is the farthest thing from one of the elements or one of the attributes you can give to him. Because even in the Bible, the same Yahweh unalived 99.99999% of man of the planet just because he was angry. All the babies, all the old people, the unborn, the animals, all of them unalived just because Yahweh was angry. Does this seem like benevolence to you? The problem of evil itself is that if evil exists in this universe, then this universe cannot have been made and cannot be dictated or administrated by a God that is said to be benevolent in any way. And the other problem is the internal consistency of the Bible, the book that Yahweh orchestrated. Which of the Yahwehs are you talking about? Is it the Yahweh that regrets and destroys? Is it the Yahweh that permitted the suffering of Job as a cosmic bet? Is it the Yahweh in Isaiah 45:7 who says expressly that I created evil? I am the purveyor of evil. Or is it the Yahweh in John 3:16 that says he loves the world and gave his son to suffer for 3 days and be raised? Or is it the Yahweh of Revelations 19 that says he presides over birds eating human corpses?
Or the Yahweh in Hosea that says that can a natural disaster befall the people if the Lord has not commanded it?
Exactly. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, host. At the end of the day, all of these Yahwehs, to me, they do not seem like the same person. Or maybe someone can explain to me whether Yahweh is suffering from multiple personality disorder. I don't know. There are many competing claims inside of that book, inside of the book that proposes this deity. But each of these claims, they fail on the face of it because when you look at it for more than a minute, you know that Yahweh is neither omnipotent, he's neither omnipresent, he's not omniscient, and god damn it, he is definitely not omnibenevolent. Because we cannot have the world that we have today, a world in which children are getting unalive because they cannot eat, a world in which we have a virus, a natural virus that eats the human eye from the inside out, because that is the way that Yahweh created it to be. That is what this worm, that is what this virus, that is what it does. A world in which Ebola exists, in which malaria exists, in which children have cancer as they are born. And you can tell me that there is any sort of benevolence that was involved in creating the world that we see today. A world in which just yesterday, over thousands of people, just in this war in Ukraine, in Iran, were unalived. Thank you very much, host, for allowing me to go on and on for as long as I did. There is no benevolence if you want